Guys, how's it going? And welcome back. Yet another blast from the past. Sorta. I had the square one of these strobe flashers when I was a kid. Never had this particular model. And I was in Value Village yesterday and I saw this thing for $5.99. I'm like, okay, we're gonna open the box at the store and see if it's all complete to start with. And if it works, we're in. So anyways, strobe flashers, they're kind of a thing of the past nowadays because they've been kind of replaced with all kinds of LED technology, laser stuff, and other funky things. And to find something even like this from way back in the 80s, right, and whatnot, they're hard to find, especially when somebody didn't even use the thing, which is quite surprising, actually. But we do have all the parts, not a mark on anything, so you know it's never been used. You know, same as the sides where the thing mounts. This would have been all scuffed up and scraped from the metal. Perfect condition. You know, these lenses will actually discolor a bit with use. And of course, the bulb would eventually start to discolor a bit, and of course, they die. This thing hasn't even been used, other than I plugged it in myself at the store, and I'm like, okay, everything works on it. It's pretty simple to run this thing. It's just got basically an on and off kind of deal, and you just keep turning the knob and putting it to the flash rate that you want. We're going to do that for you. You even have the original Radioshack manual. Wow. Paper does get discolored over time, doesn't it? So I also looked around the internet a few minutes ago just to see if any of these things still exist out there. And sure enough, there are a number of these. Not a huge number. You can count them on two hands easily enough. Cheapest one was about $8, but in really poor condition. Missing the bracket, missing the mounting hardware. You know, rough shape, definitely well used. And they go right up to $33 US. There was one there that looked to be in totally mint condition. Whether it was ever fired up or not, hard to say. But, you know, of course, these things are all considered used even if they're not used because, yeah, they're bought by somebody else. So let's plug this thing in. And we are going to turn off as much lighting as possible here. And fire this thing up, and there we go. I'm not gonna, well, I will point it at the camera, but in a minute. So we initially turn this thing on, we start turning the dial, and we can, once we get it to fire, there we go. So, see if we get it to fire there. No. Right about there. So that's about the slowest we can expect. And that's full blast. That's kind of cool. Really messes with the camera, but it's kind of neat. And let's see if we can blind the camera now, shall we? Actually, the camera does pretty good with this, to a certain point. Oh, I think that's about the, yeah, that's about the slowest, I think. A little bit more down, no. Yeah, so about there. All right, let's turn the lights back on. So, yeah, history comes back once again. If you've been on my channel lately, the last while anyway, not that long ago, I had gotten one of my original Radioshack mixing boards again. Something I haven't had in decades. And it works perfect. Just had to order some new knobs for all the left and right balance controls. But yeah, it's back in 100% condition again. This thing, pretty freaking cool. Now, Thing is it kind of breaks my heart to have to put it back into the box for a while, because this would be so much fun to set up and have fun with. But I want to see if I can find some extra bulbs for it. If I can, then I'll probably hook it up in here and maybe use it in the odd video, because I think this would be kind of fun. But we'll have to see how things go there. But yeah, otherwise, I did find one website that did have some bulbs at one time, but now they're currently out of stock. And it's kind of like, well, are they ever going to get them back? So I have a lot more research to do. But at least now I got the manual, I can go through it, and hopefully the manual actually gives me the part number for the actual bulb. Maybe I can look it up that way. I'm kind of wondering. They do tell you about how to replace it. Oh, that's the French side. Okay, we need English. So the manual really doesn't get into a whole lot. It tells you how to plug it into the wall, how to hook up the bracket for wall mounting, etc. Unplug, changing the strobe tube. Insert a new strobe tube with an anode voltage minimum 200, 550 max into the tube holder, and solder the leads in place. Oh, cool. So we have soldering we have to do. So it's not a simple pull it out and push a new one in. But guess what? No part number. So we're going to have to read the part number off the bulb, which means taking the sucker apart. And if it's soldered in there, that might be a bit of an issue. So, or maybe not. I don't know. We'll have to see what it looks like inside. That'll be for another day, though. But I do have all the info on here that I need. I'm gonna scope around for an actual replacement bulb. There's got to be somebody who's got the actual bulb without me having to rip this thing apart in pieces. But if I have to, I have to. Anyways, so that's my latest score from Value Village. That's really cool. I'm always keeping my eyes out for things that I used to have when I was younger. You know, it doesn't matter if it's guitars or amps or sound equipment. I don't even remember what mics I had other than the ones that I scored from my father, which I'll never see those things again because they're long gone. But they were an Electro Voice mic, so I may find some used ones somewhere. You never know. But I would definitely be interested in finding some more of the old audio equipment that I used to have. Because that's stuff that's, you know, sometimes part of your past that you miss, and you never know. I mean, a lot of people bought the same sort of things, you know, back in the day. And so you never know what you're going to find. I remember a lot of the same stereo equipment I had and speakers, but I don't want to go that far back into collecting that sort of stuff. But you never know what you're going to find anyways. So I guess for now we'll just put this back in the box. But I think that these strobe things, I think it's something that probably, I don't know if it should have stayed, keep on going, but technology always has to progress. LED technology is definitely a lot friendlier when it comes to strobe stuff. These things, I mean, yeah, they can, you don't want to look at them, that's for sure, because they're so bright. And then with the way they flash against your eyes, it can actually give you a really bad headache after a while. But I do remember the square one I had, and I did find those actually on the internet. There are a few of those kicking around for sale. But it's kind of like, well, I don't want that cheapy thing back because I really didn't like it. And I never had this one, but I thought, wow, this is still something that I saw, but I never bought, right? And, you know, and it's kind of nice that now I actually own one of these things because it's like, that is so cool. And from the original days of Radioshack, I would have thought that even for Radioshack, I mean, that's way back. It's called The Source now. It has been for years, right? But these were sold back in the 80s, you know, like that's a long time to even stay in the box and not being touched. But who knows where it was stored, but well taken care of, that's for sure. But I'm actually surprised they're not going for more money, because of the whole vintage thing that people have in their brain, right? Like, if it's really old, it's worth a lot of money, especially the better the condition it's in. Well, obviously, if the cheapest one is going for like $8 and it looks like it went through, you know, hell and back, and the most expensive is about $33 US in pretty well mint condition like this, well, I don't know. I mean, I don't even remember what these things sold for new, but I am pretty sure they were more than $30 even back in the day, you know, even in US dollars. But they certainly haven't really retained much value. But you're only going to sell these to people who want that vintage nostalgia, like moi, right? And I'm still not going to pay a huge price either, so, you know, because it's like, well, it is kind of old and there's better stuff out there now for, you know, the same or less money, right? But, and that's how some things get looked at, and rightly so. But anyways, let me know what you guys thought in the comments below that thing. Is that something that you would actually pick up and use for yourself, or, you know, is it part of your past that you wouldn't mind finding another one? There are a few available on YouTube, on eBay right now. You might find one on Kijiji somewhere kicking around. I did see a Kijiji ad, but I didn't look at it. Check Marketplace. You never know. I'm actually going to scope out Marketplace myself, because that's one place where I find that people want a lot of money for their stuff. You know what I mean? And so we'll have to do some scoping around ourselves and just see if any of these exist on Marketplace, and what their condition and price is like. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video and the little demo of that thing. Again, let me know what you thought of that thing in the comments down below. And is that a part of your past that you wouldn't mind finding another one? Well, at least now you know a couple places you can get one. Anyways, see ya.